So it turns out Apple may be canceling the Vision Pro 2. Mac Rumors and a couple other sources came out with articles this morning talking about how the Vision Pro 2 is canceled. As a Vision Pro owner, let's talk about it. As soon as the Vision Pro was released, we pretty much got an idea that at some point we would get just a regular Apple Vision. We see this in Apple's entire lineup. You have a regular model, an iPhone 15, and then you have an iPhone 15 Pro. And I think up until this point, Apple has been simultaneously working on both of them. So you have the lower budget model as well as the next version of the Pro line. But according to sources, it seems that they are going to slow down or stop work on the Vision Pro as a whole and put all of the focus on the more budget one. Now, this could be linked to the fact that they have slowed down production of this. Personally, I think that a lot of people are blowing those headlines out of proportion. A lot of people saying this product was dead on arrival or it's a flop. First of all, I think it's laughable that anything that sells 500,000 units in the first couple of months and makes over $1 billion is seen as a flop. I get what they're saying. Now, at the end of the day, this is not an iPhone, but an interesting thing where you can compare it to the original iPhone is the original iPhone was seen as pretty expensive by those standards. To get a high-end smartphone was not exactly a super common thing that the everyday person did.
Cash will also fly out of your wallet. $500 to $600 for the device itself, plus a 2-year contract, with monthly fees ranging from $60 to $100 using exclusive carrier AT&T.
And while a lot of people say that this too is for 2024 a very expensive item that still has a long checklist of things it maybe should do but doesn't really do, but I remind you that the original iPhone couldn't even copy and paste and had no video functionality whatsoever in its camera. So while I love seeing Pro lineups of anything continue to build, I'm actually very interested and think it's a smart move if they are putting more resources into the budget version. Now, a couple interesting things being pointed out about the budget version is apparently Apple is struggling because they don't want it to be, a cheap, crappy version of the Vision Pro. They want to keep most of the elements, including the high-res displays. My guess is they're trying to hit that $14.99 price point, somewhere around there. And essentially, I'm sure there's a team of people at Apple who are just staring around this thing, just calculating everything in their heads and going, what can we chip away to get us from $3,500, retail down to around $15. Now, Quinn from over at Snazzy Labs actually tweeted out a interesting little list that I mostly agree with of ways that they could cut costs from this version. The biggest one to me is the external display. Personally, when I'm around people, no one goes, wow, it's so nice to be able to see your eyes or see the glowing aura so I know that you're in an experience versus seeing pass through. I'd be interested to see how much performance power it actually takes up, how much battery life, and I really think it can just be nixed entirely. I definitely agree with keeping the same high-res displays on the inside, and personally, I think it should adopt probably just the M2 chip that's currently in here, hoping the next Pro line gets a significant processor bump, because whereas the latest iPads have the issue where they're crazy powerful and there's not really any apps that can take advantage of that processing power, here you have a product that actually could utilize from vast amounts of performance power, and yet they put an M2 in it, which is kind of interesting. The original goal was to actually release the budget version by the end of this year, but according to these reports, they still don't even have a working prototype. There's a lot of people out there who think that this product is going to die in the next 2 years. And listen, that certainly could happen. We've seen crazier things. And if that does happen, at the very least, we've seen a proof of concept that VR can look stunning. There's a lot of stuff that is not gimmicky about it whatsoever. But the crucial next step here isn't even a hardware change. We need to see some real developers. And I think Apple needs to dump more resources into either helping, supporting, or hell, paying developers to make incredible apps for the Vision Pro, because there's still a lot of times where I find myself wanting to put it on for longer than I do. And yes, it's very useful connecting to the Mac to get a bigger screen. There's a couple productivity apps that I really enjoy, but there's still many moments where I'm just like, I want to wear this for longer. I want to continue to use it, but there's nothing else for me to do on it. We're starting to see some really cool, interesting, immersive games that actually take advantage of the resolution, the performance. But Apple themselves, besides the immersive content, which is breathtaking, there's no Apple Vision Pro Apple app that is just truly breathtaking. And while Craig Federighi in a recent interview did say that Apple Intelligence will be a cornerstone for Vision Pro and very important to it, we don't have a specific date, and it wasn't announced at WWDC that the intelligence would be updated in Vision OS 2. So unless we get a 2.5 later this fall with Apple Intelligence added to the Vision Pro, I don't know if that's something we'll see this year, and we may have to wait till Vision OS 3. So I'm kind of split, and it seems like Apple is too. To a normal business, I get the hesitancy to put a ton of resources, even more so than I'm sure the billions they've already spent on creating this product. To me, it kind of feels like Apple's just tapping the gas on this thing. And in my opinion, they should go all in. I mean, of all the companies in the world who can do it, and let's be honest, even if they lost $10 billion or something ridiculous on this product, that's a drop in the bucket for them. And so in my opinion, they should be putting way more time, education, money into helping developers develop really cool apps. They should have their own internal apps be more than just ported over and really, really optimized and just create true experiences for the Vision Pro. And yes, of course, if by the end of this year or next year, we can see a more budget-friendly version that shares a lot of the same great characteristics of this current model, then you'll certainly get a lot more people into the door to try it out, and they'll be able to have the amazing experiences that all of us have been lucky to have. But I'd love to hear what you guys think about the Vision Pro. Do you think it's going to die in a couple of years and Apple's going to quietly scrap it? Or do you think a budget version would actually save the product line? Let me know down in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.